for somebody who has to be punctual as much as possible, you know, I mean, we always have to start on time. We always have to start on time, and we
fashionably
did.
late.
We're we're not even late. We're still okay now. It's 6:01. Yo, what's up?
Travis, just tell them you had detention and you had to, finish.
I had to keep myself after school. I didn't have a choice. So anyway, guys, we are live. Welcome to Caliber Corner, episode number. What are we at? Are we at 105 already? Is that where episode 105?
I don't know. It's up to you.
Our Caliber Spotlight for this evening is everyone's favorite round, the life of the party, the PBR of the ammunition world, 7.62x39. I love it. I cherish it just as much as I do 5.56. And we're going to have some colorful discussions on 7.62x39 this evening. Before we do that, let's just go ahead and recognize and see who is joining us this evening. I think we forgot to do that last week because we went right to the panel and we didn't get back to those people watching. So, checking out the show, we got Travis T out there. What's up? Kingpin is out there. Calaveras 32 Specials out there. Vanessa Kitty's in the house. 2 Live Moves joining us. Rich White is out there and over here. Tacos and French Fries. G-Web's in the house. Midnight Range TM. And I think that's about all I'm seeing right now. So, Frank Martinez is with us. And I'm sure we'll have a few more people joining in. Let's go ahead and get going here. Let's let the panel introduce themselves. So on my left, we've got Jim Burgess. Jim, what's going on, buddy? Jim, are you doing all right? You with us, Jim? I know he's had a few connection problems here, so maybe we'll give. All right, Jim, we'll come back to you. All right. Night Strike, what is going on, brother?
What is going on? I don't know what's going on. Hold on. Let me see if I can get all this taken care of. But
yeah. What are you doing? Are you busy right now? Are you really busy right now, Night Strike? Just a little bit.
All that's going on is this. This is all that's going on.
Shall not be infringed. Well, we're not being infringed right now by running this through the GunTube chamber, which is how you guys are watching this right now. So, Night Strike, give us a little update on just all things GunTube real quick. What's going on with the channel? What's happening, man?
Okay, well, right now I'm finishing up setting out all the Indiegogo stuff. I'm working on GunTube.org. I've backed all the videos up, so everything is backed up. I'm in the process of trying to switch software over, and I'm working with a company that made the software to get it all sorted out. So once I get that settled, I can actually start restoring all user accounts and all GunTube stuff, because we switched from one type of software to a different one. So that means I manually have to recreate all the user accounts and then, upload all the videos.
Okay.
So I'm working on that. It's a pain in the patuchka.
There you go. Oh,
yeah,
you
well
son of a...
Because loading all Travis's videos could take a year or two.
Pain in the patuchka. What's a patuchka? Yeah. I don't know. I think it's a little scrawny, dad bod-esque Eastern European descended creature that rambles around in central Nebraska in search of its next meal. Nice, right?
Sorry, Travis. I didn't want to curse, so I had to come up with something.
There we go. We'll just start using my last name. Why not? It's fine. I don't really care. So, all right. So Nice Strike, and then the login and password. People might want to know about logging in. Like I tried to, and it wasn't. When do you think you'll have that restored? Actually logging in, not to look. Okay.
It may. I hate to tell everyone this, and I don't like saying this, but it may take me the rest of this week.
Okay.
I hate to say this, but it's just I have so much I'm working on right now. It's got me all at once. So I am working as fast as I can. Other than that, other than that, I haven't had time for anything else. So,
okay.
We're working as hard as we can at GunTube. It's just single man operation. That's all I can say. And I like what Sandhill Shooter says. Son of a patuchka.
That's going to be the next one now we start using, I suppose.
Yeah.
Right. All right. We'll come back, Calaveras. We'll come back to your comment here in a little second because we were talking about 308 last week. So, all right, Nice Strike. Well, I appreciate you being here. Thank you so much. You've basically been here since the beginning, and I'm glad to have you here. All right. Yep. Moving on down the line, we got the Kingpin, David Bowling. Kingpin, what's going on, man? How you doing? Are you staying busy?
Yes, indeed. Not too bad, man. Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
And real quick, did Bloke have his drawing? He did, right?
Yeah.
For the fundraiser and the campaign and stuff. All right. Do we know who won it? Was it announced at all on the show? Was it a live drawing, or are they keeping it on the DL, or what?
No, it was a live drawing, and the best part about the live drawing is Angelina was actually on live with her dad through a cell phone video. But
Uh-huh.
she's got a big old happy smile on her face, super big energy. Uh, Kinky Sphincter actually won, so congratulations very much to Kinky. And
Sweet. Okay.
mostly everybody hates his guts right now, but that's okay. Thank you to everybody who joined in. I appreciate it very much. I know the bloke does too.
And again, just, after seeing my own family have some pretty serious medical bills this summer, it adds up quick. It's insane. And any little bit of help you can get, whether it's $20 or $2,000 or $4,000, I mean, it's medical expenses are nuts, especially if you don't get assistance. If you got to pay for it out of pocket, the deductibles and 80/20, it takes a long time to get to that point. I think a lot of people don't realize it until they actually have to go to the doctor, what this is actually going to cost them out of pocket. Because a $20 copay is not a $20 copay, just so people know. But that's awesome, man. That's great. If
usually ends up being a $400 or $500 copay.
Yeah, basically, yeah. After the hospital charges you, and then the doctor charges you, and then the insurance company passes you. It's crazy. So it's glad they could help around, Kingpin. I appreciate you spreading the word on all of our chats about it and posting all those links and getting the word out there. That's a great cause, and I'm glad that we could help out the family, man. It was definitely worth it.
Yeah, bloke said that that they raised just through what he was doing, just about $3,000 or just over, and give or take $3,000, a couple bucks either way. But so
cool.
that's pretty much just through the GoFundMe thing that bloke was promoting. So that's pretty good.
Awesome. All right, man. Okay, we'll continue the introductions here. So Rich White is with us. What's going on, Rich? How you doing, man?
Yeah, not too much going on. I just want to add to what Kingpin was saying. It was really cool seeing how upbeat she was and the big smile. I mean, she had a smile like she was the cat that got the canary on her face. I mean, she, for everything she's going through, to see that smile on her face, it was awesome that day. I mean, it really, really was.
That illness is terrifying. I can't imagine. I'm not a parent, but I do have students and stuff happens to them, and you worry about them like they're your own kids. And I couldn't imagine when it's that serious. I mean, when it gets to a point that it could have ended your kid's life. I mean, that alone has got to be terrifying for a parent. And then you got to deal with the fallout when it's all done. I mean, the financial aspect of it. And so hopefully maybe we can raise a little more awareness and get some more help for the family and just kind of keep things rolling. All right. Hey, Rich, you got a show you do. You want to tell us about it real quick?
Well, no, I'm sorry. My wife said something. I didn't catch what you said.
That's all right, man. You got a show that you do. Do you want to let us know about it a little bit? You want to talk about it real quick? And
yeah, it's This Week Unloaded. It's on the Unloaded Media channel. Usually it's on Sunday nights at 8 Eastern or somewhere around there. No, you can't. Sorry.
Hey, look, man, we all got families. I understand. It's all good, man. Don't worry about it. This is live, man. This is real life.
I'll get back to you, Travis.
That's all right. We'll finish it up on the outros. You can get it out there too. So then you send the family out for ice cream or something. So yeah.
Watch, Ammo Cat will interrupt Travis in the next 5 minutes.
Oh, Ammo Cat's not with me. Ammo Cat's living with the wife. So yeah. We had to divide the bed. So I got Ammo Dog and she got Ammo Cat, but they get to see each other on the weekend, so it's good.
Not too sure that's good.
Yeah. It's a good thing. All right, and moving on down the line, Squib Load in the house. Squib, how you doing, man? How you doing?
I'm okay.
You're okay?
You were talking about the Patushka foraging for food in central Nebraska. Mm-hmm. Would you find a Patushka at a Runza, perhaps, or?
Generally, they're there. They are big fans of Eastern European food, like rabbit stew and cabbage. Any kind of European pastries, kolaches and things like that. So yeah. Rumor has it they speak a little bit of Czech. They know some curse words in Czech too, but we don't know. That's never been verified. So. Well,
I'm sure that would make them big fans of quality Eastern European firearms. So
exactly, which is sad because I don't have. Well, I've got some, but I have no CZs in the collection. We definitely need to add a CZ at some point. So, all right. So, and then real quick, couple quick announcements for you. We are getting close to having 20,000 subscribers. I think I'm under 100. When that happens, I got to take out the 224 Valkyrie one more time. And the last 3 times I've tried to go out, three weeks ago, it was harvest season. There were combines and grain trucks in the line of fire, so I couldn't shoot. 2 weeks ago, we had a torrential downpour. And then last week was just cruddy. It was blowing rain and windy. It's not the kind of stuff. It's not that I can't shoot in that, but it's really hard for me to film in that without letting my cameras get ruined. I have no waterproof cameras. So hopefully I can get out this week or next week, but we will be giving away the 224 Valkyrie. I'll post a video about it. You post a comment on the video. That's going to get you entered into the drawing, and then we will do the drawing live online. I got to see if there's any kind of age restrictions or mailing restrictions, because, you know, if somebody gets it and they're in a country where you can't have firearms, you're not going to get it sent to you, unfortunately. But you will get the bipod. You will get the magazine with it, too. What's that?
It sounds like a Jeff Foxworthy joke. It really does. If you go to the rifle range and a combine crosses your line of sight, you might be in Nebraska.
That's literally what it was. I put the target up at 100 yards. I drove down to the 200-yard spot. And as I came around the corner, there were 3 grain semis, like trailers, sitting off in the distance. I thought, oh, they're just sitting there. Well, I'm shooting on the left. There's just grain trailers, nothing hooked up to them. I thought, okay, I'm good. It is a working cattle ranch where I shoot. I mean, they have cattle and crops and stuff on the property, right? And then I'm getting ready to go down to the 200-yard marker, and then a combine comes around, and then another one comes around. They start dumping their grain, and I'm like, man, could you guys have coned this off so I wouldn't come in here? But yeah, it's just been garbage for a while. I'm not making excuses. You guys know I love to go to the range. I've made a ton of range videos, but I get basically one day during the week to go. And if I can't get the weather to cooperate so I can actually film and bring it to you, I just don't go. So especially with everything I got going on right now, it's hard for me to have the time that I used to have. So excuses, but we will eventually get the 224 Valkyrie out one more time, and then it's going to go. And then also, I have a Taurus G3 I will be picking up tomorrow. I would have gotten it today, but I had a couple things going on, and I'm also here doing this show. And so I will be picking up a Taurus G3 from SS Pond tomorrow. I'll start bringing that to you guys on the channel. I know there's a million videos on it now. What's interesting about the G3, what I did not see with the PT-111 G2 or the G2C, there was a lot of pre-production copies of the G3 that went out to a lot of gun channels. There were probably 5 or 6 gun channels that already had Taurus G3s to show off. If you guys don't know what it is, it's the full-size version of the G2C. And they were already showing it off a month, 4 or 5 weeks before they even shipped. So there was a lot of copies that went out. Fortunately, I didn't get one of those, but I will be bringing it to you guys. Probably show it off tomorrow night, Strike, on Hit or Miss Tuesday nights at 9 o'clock.
You should.
I'm gonna get we'll get a cleaning video out there, and then we'll take it to the range and shoot it. So that I'm gonna get the 224 Valkyrie done first, and since there's already G3 videos up the wazoo out there right now on YouTube and other places, I'll save my G3 review for a little bit later on. But I'm excited. It's a little over $240. I'm seeing them on Gunbroker for $229. So if you guys want one, they're not that expensive. It's a 15 or 17 round capacity or 2 10-round mags. And I don't know if they're making them, Massachusetts compliant or California compliant or anything like that. But that's a pretty exciting little thing going on. So, but otherwise, yeah, I'll be bringing you guys a lot more videos, and there's some stuff coming up. So be watching for the drawing. We're going to do that, and it should be a good time. So. Yes. So anyway, the idea for covering a different caliber every week, this is something we kind of used to do on Caliber Corner, but I would pick some of those unusual or new calibers that had just come out. Like, we covered 350 Legend as soon as it was announced. We did an episode on that months and months ago. We've talked about, the 458 SOCOM, 450 Bushmaster. We've covered a lot of these calibers. And now we're going back to those bread and butter calibers, right? What's that nice, right?
I got a phone call from you this evening, and I thought we were going to talk about 308 again, considering your your area code. But I guess it's 7.62x39, which I can deal with that. Yes.
That is what we're talking about tonight. So, real quick, I want to mention this. What was it? Caliverse 32 Special had made an announcement. He said, my bear from last week, I hit it with a 308. My buddy hit it with 2 270s, and then I hit it with another 308 to bring it down. So Caliverse had got himself a bear, if I'm not mistaken. Caliverse, did you find it? I can't remember if you said you found it or not. You think it got away, if I'm not mistaken. But, yeah, trying to keep up on the comments on the YouTube side right now, too. So, Kingpin says, just send it to me straight now. Don't send it to Midnight Range TM. Oh, what's that?
He shot the bear in California. Come on, guys. The irony should not escape you, considering what the California state flag has on it.
Yes.
He shot California.
I think it's more of a statement on his freedom than anything else. I think that's probably the key to remember. So
finally, somebody did it. Finally.
The real question is, did that bear have arms?
Ooh.
Yeah, I think they were DOJ approved, so that's probably they have micro stamping on the nails. Every time it slashes at something, it leaves a serial number in it.
Yeah, right.
I don't know. All right, so 762 by 39. I love this round. I really I guess part of it for me is the economy of it, the cost. Although you can argue that you can get your Steelcase 223 Remington and even some lesser expensive 5.56 for a fairly similar cost, but 7.62 by 39. You've got a nice capable hunting round. You've got an inexpensive hunting round to buy in bulk. Obviously, we can't argue with this combat prowess. Nice, Rick. What's that?
Well, we could. We could argue all day long. But
yes. No. So, real quick, like I do every week, I want to give you the quick and dirty Wikipedia history of the round. I've got less than 2 paragraphs for you. So, if you look it up on Wikipedia, there's tons and tons of information on it. But here's what we got for the 7.62 by 39. Okay, so it's also known as the 7.62 Soviet, or formerly 30 Russian short round. It's a rimless, bottlenecked intermediate cartridge of Soviet origin that was designed during World War II. Due to the worldwide proliferation of the Soviet SKS and AK-47 pattern rifles, as well as the RPD and RPK light machine guns, the cartridge is used by both militaries and civilians alike. Shortly after World War II, the AK-47 was designed, later becoming the world's most widespread military pattern rifle. The cartridge remained the Soviet standard until the 1970s, and it was largely replaced in Soviet service by 5.45 by 39. Which is the AWAG, the Soviet AWAG cartridge, if I'm not mistaken, is what it's called, the AWAG 5.45, which was introduced with the new AK-74 rifle and continues in service with the modernized current issue Russian Armed Forces AK-74M service rifle, as well as a future AK-12 service rifle. So in the 21st century, the 7.62 by 39 remains a common service rifle chambering, including for newly developed rifles. All right, take it away, Nice Strike.
I've heard that, and this is just all hearsay from people I know that live in Russia, that I don't think it's the military, but I think a lot of the police, the SWAT police forces are still using 39.
See, I was curious about that when it said it's been pushed out and they brought in, so
the military switched to 5.45. But I wouldn't be surprised if some of the reserve forces, or whatever their National Guard analog is, they're not still outfitted with 7.62 by 39, just because there's so much of it out there.
Yeah,
I mean, even in Russia, Russia made more than they needed to.
Well, think about Asia. Think about China.
Yeah, exactly.
You could argue that by volume, it's probably one of the most prolific rounds out there that in the world today. Africa, Asia. I mean, just the consumption continents wide.
But these days, it's Russia's using what is it? It's the HK. It's the AK. Was it the 107 or something like that? I think that's the newest rifle they've got, and that's basically an updated 74.
Okay.
So
I really wish that we could get. Go ahead.
Yeah, there's still units over there using 7.62 by 39. They Ian over on Forgotten Weapons has been doing a series with I can't remember the guy's name, but he does the one website that everybody used to go to for get weapons information and stuff. I can't remember the name of the website either.
Like International Gun Database or something like that?
I think it was like guns.ru or something like that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, something like that. Gunsoftheworld.ru, something like that. Ian's been interviewing him, and he was saying that because he interviews people all the time over there for his channel and whatnot, but it's in Russian, so it wouldn't make any difference for us to watch it. But he interviews the people in the military and stuff over there all the time, and there's still military units that are standard frontline military units over there are still using the 7.62 by 39. It just depends on what the mission is, whether they're grabbing 7.62 by 39 or something in 5.45 by 39.
The standard issue is a 74 variant of some type, not the 74 itself, maybe the newer versions, but the 5.45 is the standard round.
Just right away, the only real concern I have about 7.62 by 39, and this is just something, just reaching out to everybody out there, it is getting expensive now to acquire an AK pattern rifle, in my opinion. I mean, it used to be that the SKSs were the old barrel guns you get for $75 a pop, and the AK-47s were cheaper than AR-15s, right? But it seems like anymore it's getting expensive if you want to pick yourself up an AK-47. I mean, options, if you want to get yourself a Auster, you're looking at close to $700 these days.
That's what happens when you get the Chinese guns banned back in the 90s, and then in the 2000s you had both Russian manufacturers banned from import, so it's going to drive the price of everything else up.
Well, even things like my MD63, I've got the James River Armory edition, James River Arsenal or Armory, one of the two, edition AK, and I mean, those AMD63s were they were all over the place, $449, $399 a couple times a classic, and now you can't even find an AMD63 anymore unless you go to Gunbroker, and it's going to be $600 or $700.
Yeah, and I'm sure the problems that the Romanians had at the Quaker factory are probably contributing as well, because remember they had that fire that just basically destroyed their testing facility, so where they were testing the weapons before sending them out and everything, so that couldn't help either.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I mean, it's like our supplies.
There's a whole bunch of stuff.
And is it bad for me to say this? I mean, other than PSA, there's not a lot of American-made AKs out there that I would really want to purchase, that if I'm planning on doing a lot of rounds through one. I've seen nothing but complaints about cracking frames and trunnions and shoddy construction. I mean, is America capable of making a sub-$1,000 quality AK-47? I mean, that's the question I would ask, without having to go like Krebs or having to drop,
I would look with Childers in West Virginia. I was looking for an American-made AK years ago and did some looking around. Now, I've never actually handled one, but they seem to have the best, I guess, for me, options. There was a little bit of a wait, and they weren't cheap, but they customize it for you, and just seemed that they would give you one based off of a pattern of whatever Warsaw Pact country you wanted. If you wanted a Polish style one, you wanted a Yugoslavian style one, you wanted a Russian style, whatever you wanted, they seem to have it all under one roof. But short of actually handling one, I never did spring for it. I should have, but I never did. I would say to go that route if you were looking for an American-made AK, but it might not be cheap.
Right.
So
that's
those?
the issue.
I've got an AK that was a parts kit gun with a Childers receiver that Foose made, and he meant to send me a different one of his other AKs, but he sent me the one with his custom Childers receiver instead. So, that was fun. But say what you will about parts kits guns, but if you build the gun right, it performs flawlessly. And I actually really like that rifle. I love that rifle. So, but if I could afford another rifle, I would probably buy a PSA over like something like, we've all heard how bad most of the Sentries are aside from the washers they import. Then there's the NPAP.
Yeah, I would go with a Zastava, however you want to pronounce it. Yeah.
Yeah, the Zastava guns are not going to be imported by Sentry anymore. They're going to be importing them themselves.
Are they importing them, or are they going to be making them in the U.S.? They're going to be bringing their own parts kits in and then making them here? Or what?
Importing them.
What's that?
They're importing finished guns. As far as I know, they're importing the finished guns from over there, and then they're going to be opening the magwells and stuff themselves over here.
Okay.
Right.
So manufacturing over there, and then just like the finishing touches over here.
And what really seems to be the big
I know that Zastava is starting to set up shop here in the United States too, so that they can just get all that out of the way and they don't have to use a third party. So
G-Web says Sentry is not an AK; it's an importer. Except Sentry does make their own AK.
Vishka, C39B2.
The C39, the VS
47,
the RAS 47. Those are all actually manufactured by Sentry, and they're all crap.
out of all the Century AKs that they have, and we know they don't make them, but out of all the ones they have, the only ones I'd even consider would be the washers that they import, or one of the C39 V2s because of the forged receiver. That's the only reason.
Yeah.
And at that point, I consider just taking everything off of the forged receiver and just buying a parts kit and putting it on the forged receiver.
Are they forged or milled? Because I thought is there a difference between the two or not?
They're milled.
Yeah,
they're
the milled, and then the rest are stamped. Yeah.
They're supposedly milled from a forged block. People have had the rails on them break, so
So NEA is here.
Let's let him tell us about the AK you should never buy, but he got the one out of the entire country that worked. The IO Inks.
What happened now? What?
You got the unicorn IO AK-47. Yes.
I did. I mean, I don't have it anymore. Somebody bought it off me. So, oddly enough, when I first originally bought it, however many years ago it was, I paid like $425 for it and sold it for $600 years later.
So NEA Matt is here from Never Enough Ammo's channel, or the Never Enough Ammo channel. Matt, you want to introduce yourself real quick? You want to say a few words, or we'll be checking out your show in about an hour here, hour and a half.
Yeah, we got the Geek Chat tonight. So
all right.
No, that's it. I'm good.
So what we're doing is we're having a little. We're complaining right now about the quality of American-made AKs. So could you make any recommendation? What PSA the only, aside from like a $1,200-$1,300 Krebs or something along those lines? Is there any sub-$1,000 American-made AK you would consider buying?
I mean, there's not a lot of sub-$1,000 American-made AKs. Period. Really. I mean.
Well, there's Riley Defense, there's Blackguard Arms, there's some of the Razes are $600-$700.
But I wouldn't want anything from Century. No, thank you. Except
for the Wasser, right? You get the Wasser because they're imported.
Well, yeah, but I mean, you're basically getting a Romanian rifle. It just was assembled here, but everything else was done here. I cannot make a good argument outside of potentially PSA. Which, while I still haven't owned one, I can't be 100% on this. I just like PSA as a company. I can't make a valid argument for why you should buy any American-made AK that's not like an Arsenal or something. You know what I mean? That's going to end up costing you a lot of money. I can't. I just can't. Even back before DDI got bought out by PSA. You know what I mean? Like it's just. When you've got the Zastavas and you've got the Wassers and you got all these other options out there in the $600 to $650 price range, I can't make a valid argument for it. I really can't.
So here's what I want to see from American manufacturers. They'll get my money when they make one that matches the quality of a Wasser. It's the metallurgy, in my opinion, that doesn't match, and it's the casting of parts that drives me nuts. I mean,
yeah.
They're not forging the parts the right way. They're using, look at the Vishka. I was really interested in a Vishka, and they brag about using the tool steel and this and that, but there's some cast parts on it. And I question the long-term durability of that because I want to buy one AK that I could shoot a lot of rounds through. And I know your average person might not put 5,000 rounds through an AK-47. I get that. But I don't want to try anywhere and out of 4,000 rounds, and I've got a time bomb I'm sitting on, That's what drives me nuts is maybe I've watched too many videos, and I've just gotten the negative stigma about American-made AKs that anything that's out there, it just doesn't seem to cut it in terms of quality, No,
and the fact that it's... I don't know. I mean, this kind of isn't really about American-made AKs, but when it's so simple. I mean, these people could be buying real, forged parts from overseas, importing them in to build better rifles, but instead they'd rather, put cast bullshit on something, to save money. Really, is it that expensive? To order in some,
how about some quality wood furniture? Quality wood furniture doesn't crack,
It isn't that expensive. I can tell you, being in manufacturing, you can get the steel, you can make sure it's certified so that it's good quality steel. You put it in a CNC machine, you hit the button, it does all the work. You send it out, you have it heat treated, you have it phosphated or whatever type of surface treatment you're going to have done to it. Just like thousands of other kinds of parts for other industries in America, you could use the same heat treater or the same plater or whatnot that a car company or any number of manufacturers would use, and mass produce this stuff and be able to make a quality part here in America without a lot of labor, and depending on how you run your business, you could keep up with demand. If there's a lot of demand, you could ramp up. If there isn't a lot of demand, you could ramp back down. So much of it's automated these days that you don't need 100 people to assemble a rifle. And believe me, I want Americans put to work. But if you can't automate enough stuff on something that's not going to be as high a volume as some other types of things, you're probably not going to do so. On the other hand, you could also diversify. This month you're making AKs, and you're not going to make another batch of AKs again for 3 or 4 months. Next month you're going to make something else. And when it runs out of stock, you get put on a waiting list until they start making them again. And that way they can keep the factory small and the number of employees small, but they're constantly working, and you just switch out your tooling. I mean, there's all kinds of ways to do it. It's just getting somebody who knows manufacturing and who is a gun guy. Finding that combination is not an easy thing, I think.
Now, here's what I want people to understand. I mean, if you want to get one and you think you might put a couple hundred rounds through, and you don't want to spend Auster money, or you don't want to spend whatever, right? You don't want to get yourself an arsenal or whatnot. I mean, there's nothing wrong. I had a RAS 47 for a while, and I remember as soon as I posted my first video, people were saying, "Dude, you got to watch AK-47 Operators Union's video and stuff." And I'm not trying to just be totally influenced by like one channel necessarily, but time and time again, when you see these guns having just chewed up bolts, like I'm mentioning in the chat over there, and trunnions that are worn down, and the gun is closing on a no-go gauge, like I said, it does kind of kill your confidence. I really think that, honestly, in my opinion, just go with a Auster. I guess that'd be my advice. If you're going to get one, you can still get one for a little over $700, and you're only going to save, say, maybe $50 or $100 over a PSA. So, I'd say go that route, or maybe just save up and get yourself something a little bit higher quality. I don't know, Matt. What do you think?
Oh yeah, no. I mean, I think there's, like I said, there's not a good argument to be made right now to buy an American-made AK. Prices being what they are, and I'll even say, that borders on PSA as well, because they're not exactly cheap like their ARs are, right? So you're not exactly saving a whole lot of money going PSA as opposed to a Auster, or again as a Stava or whatever, whatever's out there. And there's so many good rifles out there, and even like with Century, I mean, they still have a lot of old M70s that are floating around out there on the market that are still being sold, quote unquote new. It's not on the used market. There's a lot of stuff out there. You've got M&M, the Romanian M&M stuff coming in. There's good quality stuff out there for under $1,000. It just doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah. Well, let's get back to the round itself, because that's, I mean, again, the gun itself, obviously, the AK chat was going to come up, the SKS discussion. As for the round itself, ballistically wise, would you guys agree that we're talking almost like a 30-30 amount of energy or hunting capability? What do you guys think on that? The round itself is a hunting round.
Oh yeah,
there might be somebody who wants to buy it as a sportsman that might want to pick it up for small to medium game.
It's a fantastic round. I mean, there's not a lot that a 7.62x39 can't put down. In most places you go, there's not. I mean, it would even, I dare say it would even be, if you're running around somewhere up in the northwest and you're worried about a bear. I mean, I would feel very comfortable with an AK or an SKS. You know what I mean?
Well, I've got some Winchester Super X 7.62x39 soft point here that I got. I actually found this at Walmart, believe it or not. Now, I mean, we all know the Walmart doesn't carry AK ammo anymore. They won't eventually. Energy-wise, at 300 yards, we're looking at 586. Was a pound-feet of energy. Is that right? I'm not sure if that's 200 yards, 818, 100 yards, 1,129. And he got a 0. This flies flat at 200 yards. I mean, I would think that you'd be okay shooting, say, deer out to 300 yards with this, depending on what your rifle is.
Oh, yeah, easily.
What you're running, if you know your drop, and you're running a solid,
I've shocked you with 7.62x39 before. It's just as effective on them as what a 30-30 would, especially here in West Virginia, where it's nothing but trees. Yeah, you're not going to get a clean shot at more than 200 yards. If you're lucky, maybe 300. So getting one of the more powerful rounds like a 308 or a 30-06 really isn't even that much of a viable option, because it's really not going to do that much more than what you're going to do with a 30-30 or AK or an SKS or whatever other lower powered hunting round you would have. So in this area, AK or SKS is a very viable hunting rifle.
Oh, and SKS is going to give you, because you've got an effective range in a standard AK of about 400 meters, right? So, and if you're taking that and you associate that with going deer hunting or whatever else, and then you put it in something like an SKS with a little more, which is a little more stable platform for the round, slightly more. You've got a lot of power in that round. You've got good range. There's just not a lot you couldn't do with it. I mean, unless you're out in the plains of Montana somewhere, you know what I mean, and you're trying to take an 800-yard shot or something, then obviously it's not not a great choice. But outside of that, I mean, it's good to go.
Something G-Webs is saying out there in the chat, he says, Travis P11's thinking new Auster from PSA, but is saying Auster, and that includes so many other guns that you have in mind. I was thinking what a Auster, I don't know the specifics of GP or what Auster 10. Well, when I say new Auster from PSA, I'm saying if you're going to buy yourself a new AK pattern rifle or any kind of rifle that shoots 7.62x39, I would say go with the Auster that's imported by Century because they're using a parts kit. They're not making, it's not a Auster, it's clone or anything like that. You're getting the kit and that's going to have the American barrel, and you're going to have the American trigger to read the for 922R or whatever to meet the number of parts for an imported rifle. That's what I was talking about. I said I would get whatever Century imports as a Auster. That's what I would buy if I was going to buy a new AK at this point, unless I was going to save up and buy an Arsenal or something along those lines, or a Vepr or something like that. And I was going to show you guys for ammo. So you can get this if you want to use it as a good hunting round. Also, Hornady makes the 7.62x39 steel case, and this stuff is an absolute fantastic value. Shoots really good. I have seen some videos on YouTube where guys harvest deer out to 250 yards with it. You got your steel case with the SST bullet, and this is a 123 grain round. Box of 50 you can buy it for $18 or $19 online. I think I paid $23 for this at Cabela's for a box of 50, and I've shot quite a bit of it. I actually find it to be a little bit lighter shooting. I don't know why, than the just the Tula that I shoot. And so this stuff is great. You've got again, 0 drop at 200 yards, 2350 feet per second out of the barrel, 14.8 inch drop at 300 yards. So obviously you want to know your drop if you're going to use it. But I would consider, maybe even keep this around, say for as a self-defense rifle round maybe. But there's nothing wrong with going full metal jacket either. But yeah, and then obviously, you got your Wolf and all that other stuff, all that other ammo that's out there. You got a ton of options.
But I was going to use a 7.62x39 self-defense round, and I'd use the PDX-1 Defender.
Do they make one like that in that caliber?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay. Cool. Yes, I think it's
the Hornady you were just showing up. If I remember right, that's the stuff that I don't have any on me right now. So I'm pretty sure that's the ammunition that I used the last deer I got.
Okay.
With my with the SKS, in fact, the one I got I have right here beside me right now.
And that's another thing I like about it. Yeah.
Rifle.
Yeah. Economical.
Deer hunting when you're using that. Yeah.
Very cool. From a firearm standpoint, I was just going to show off, Matt, you've got your AMD 63.
Yep.
Okay, you got that. Oh, we're doing some gun shopping. Okay, that works.
No, I was just gonna show you guys. This is just for instance, $569 for underfolder here, Romanian underfolder kit, and you just slap the furniture on and put the underfolder stock together, and that's it. You buy stock, you get a pistol grip, you get your hand guards, slap this thing together, and for under $600, you've got a Romanian built AK. So there's a lot of good options out there.
So what are you getting when you buy that? Is that an American-made barrel, or are you getting it? Are they able to import it like that, and you don't have to change out the barrel, or what's?
Let's see. It says
I'm kind of curious if it's a new manufacturer. Oh, a 4150 V9 treated.
Yeah.
Threaded barrel.
Yeah, pretty much ready to go. It doesn't say exactly what.
Atlantic Arms properly installs the barrel and Morrissey receiver.
Yeah. So original import, U.S. part. Only U.S. part is receiver in the barrel. Yeah. 922 compliant. So everything else on it is your trunnions, all that stuff is all
original,
actual original stuff. So you're not getting a bunch of cast parts, basically. You're getting decent parts with the American receiver, American barrel, and something like this. Again, it's not difficult to slap this thing together. If you don't know how to change out your grip or handguards anyway you should learn, and this is a good way to do it without spending a lot of money.
Yeah, if you can pick up your furniture for it and so on, you don't have to. Yeah, definitely an excellent way to go. So 569 is not bad. Now, I did say the item sold out, unfortunately, but yeah. So Matt's got an AMD 63. I've also got one too. And Matt, what did we say? These got down to like 450. Is that right?
Yeah, they were. I bought mine. I think
$399 at one point. So
they went way down. I bought mine at $499, but then they kept just going down.
Now they're not even available unless you go onto Gunbroker if you want to pick one up. So this is the James River Armory Edition, which just has a quad rail on the front, and then they've got the Phoenix Technologies grip in stock, and that's really the only difference. Well, James River Armory does actually; they get the parts kit themselves.
Hey, Travis,
yeah.
What magazine do you have in there?
This is a Korean mag, actually, South Korean mag.
Korean mag. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, good. No.
Yeah, no, it won't. Okay, let's just get this.
I still have your favorite Croatian bullhold open.
I know. It doesn't like Croatian mags, and again, we've had this discussion a million times. There you go, Matt showing off his toy.
Yeah.
Mine will take Pro mags, but I have to sand them down. But I have zero problems with P mags, as well as just standard. Most of your steel surplus mags or whatever work with mine. So
yeah.
So Matt, that's your AMD 63, but that one you put your Magpul furniture on it. Is that right?
Well, just the handguard. I was gonna do the stock, and then I really liked this Phoenix Technology stock. The one that's just it's just a plain polymer, but it's identical to like a wood stock as far as the size and the shape and everything. And I love it. I was gonna replace it. I was gonna put some a Magpul stock on it. I was thinking about getting that side folder stock and all this stuff, and then I got the rifle, and I was like, this is a really nice stock. Why would I change it? So all I did was I changed the grip here and the forend, which required a little bit of tweaking, essentially. And then, of course, I changed out the muzzle brake on mine because it was that nasty looking big.
That actually weighs, I'm not kidding, like 6 or 8 ounces. I put it on a scale one time. It is a cool looking, it doubles as like a car muffler. Yeah, but it works. It works great. But yeah, I got a Tapco slant on mine too.
And then I think all I really did too, I did some internal polishing on the trigger and just kind of, cleaned up the trigger a little bit. And it was nice because it was and it's these do come with like the double hook trigger instead of the single hook, so they've got a little bit better trigger in them and all kinds of stuff, man. They're good rifles, man. I really like mine. The downsides I've heard to some of the stuff as far as they have 4140 barrels instead of 4150, and that's true, they do. I've not had any issues with it, but it really would only be an issue, I guess, if you're just like taking it to the range to abuse it. You know what I mean? Like you're just running mag after mag after mag after mag.
Magnums in it,
doing all kinds of stuff in it, and then eventually you're gonna irreparably screw your barrel. So it would have been nice if this had been like a 4150 barrel or something like that. It's not, but again, it was a sub $500 AK. I mean, and it's been great. I've loved this damn thing. So there's not really I can't really complain, so.
But I'm just going to say right now, if you don't have an AK, obviously the prices are not going down. You should do a little bit of research and just go pick one up while you can. And start stocking up on ammo, too, because it's so dirt cheap to get a case of 1,000 rounds.
I don't have an AK currently, but I do have this little beauty if the camera turns on. So.
There you go.
Yes.
This feels my 7.62 by 39 here. So.
And those also aren't going down in price. So if you can get one and you don't mind cleaning the Cosmoline off of it, man, you can get yourself a great deal on an SKS.
Yeah, you can.
Bathing with it in simple green,
Good Lord, that thing was nasty. I mean, really, really nasty. Worst Cosmoline I've ever seen on a.
By the way, I got an email from J&G earlier today. They have some SKSs for like going between $389 and $399.
They've got ones with crack stocks for $350, $380 for standard, and then it's like $410 for one that's matching. Right. And AIM Surplus has the same thing going, except they didn't have any crack stock versions, but they've got it for the same price. So if one place runs out, you can go to the other place. So those we were looking around at those yesterday, I think. I can't remember when. And so there's some deals out there now. I mean, it's going to be a while before you find another deal. I got lucky with mine. $250 for that SKS. I mean, crack stock. Took 24 hours to clean the damn thing, but still, $250 is nowadays.
I got kind of lucky with mine too.
So if you find those deals, I mean, Classic will do that. They that's what they do. That's how I got mine. Is they every time they get in a new shipment, they always take they start at like 400 whatever, I don't know, 450 whatever it is for the really really nice ones, and then 350 for the ones that aren't in as good a shape, and then they sell through all of those. And then they're like, okay, these are in bad condition, so we're selling them for, I don't know, 300, 320 or whatever. And then they wait till those are all gone, and then they bust out the ones with the cracked stocks and go $250.
And Radioactive Ham is saying, sorry guys, but plastic does not belong on an AK-47. The plastic that Matt has on his AR, on his AK, you're right. That plastic doesn't belong on there. That's why I went out and got a Bakelite East German furniture kit and put it on my AK, because that plastic was made by the commies and it belongs on an AK.
Well, the handguard that comes on an AMD 63 is hardly functional. I mean, it's a piece of bent tinfoil with some holes in it. I guess if you want to go shoot that, you go right ahead, but I'd rather have the ergonomic comfort of a quad rail or,
and not burn my hand after 20 rounds.
Yeah. Come on, Nice Strike. It's all about functional, not fashion.
That's why they had to put that fucking pistol grip on the front.
Yeah,
they put a reverse pistol grip on the front because you can't hold that handguard.
Yeah.
Like it's so
it's that bad.
So there's a quick question on the chat. Oh, go ahead.
And if
it's touching my shoulder. God.
You just made that into a SBR. It just transformed into an SBR.
Yeah. Oh no, that's a shame. That's a real shame.
Anybody who anybody who thinks that only wood belongs in AK really needs to look at the current issue of what the Russians are issuing the troops, which has no wood on it. Has
it's all
quad rails on the front, and some of them even have rails on top of the receiver.
They've been used. They haven't used wood in their military for how many decades now? Has it been since they've actually used wood stocks on their AKs? It's been a while. It's been like since the 80s, maybe longer than that. Didn't they start on the 74s? Start putting polymer furniture on the 74s back in the 70s? I feel like they did. Or am I wrong?
Polymer Bakelite.
A Bakelite, yeah.
Maybe. Yeah, and they don't even use that anymore. Now it's just regular old polymer putting on.
Oh yeah.
With they put heat shields in the handguards to keep it from heating up.
By the way, there's a feature on this rifle right here that every AK company should adopt. Watch this. Look, it stays attached. Look at that. Isn't that amazing? Why can't every company? It's just a simple little hinge right there. It's great.
Yeah, that's the way my Vepr 12 is. Vepr 12s are like that. The Vepr rifles aren't like that, but the shotguns are.
And then you get a longer sight base too, because you bring the sight back here. It's great. I love it. They should do that to every AK. That should be an upgrade for AKs.
Well, the Vepr 12. Yeah, the Vepr 12 has the hinged dust cover like that, but then it has a rail on top of the dust cover, and it's super solid. It doesn't wiggle at all. And hold zero on it. So.
There was a question asking ammo prices. What are we looking at here for ammo prices for 1,000 rounds? You can get 1,000 rounds of Tula. I don't know about shipping price, but this is from True Shot Gun Club for 177 at 122 grain. You can step up to 123 grain Wolf. There's Polyformance, and there's also Wolf Military Classic. That's 178 and 179 for 1,000 rounds. 17.8 cents a round. The brass stuff I showed you guys earlier was fairly expensive, and then prices go up from there depending on what grade or what quality you want to go with. But like I said, the Winchester stuff I bought, I think this was about $18 a box, and I only bought it for testing with my bolt action rifle, with my Ruger Ranch rifle, and then just the basic Winchester Full Metal Jacket brass ammo. This was $17 or $18 a box at Walmart, and I think they had it rolled back to $12.98, but somebody bought the last box. But I did keep my brass from it, which is one bonus. And then again, the Horner Day is only 20-some bucks, like $22, $23 for 50. But then after that, you can get into your steel case ammo. Don't forget surplus ammo that's out there. Spam cans have gone up quite a bit in price if you can find any. I know that there's like modern spam cans that Tula makes that you can buy, like 400-round cans or 440 or whatnot. So you got a lot of options out there too. So, but yeah, as a round, it is definitely become one of my favorites. And so now to really enjoy it a bit more, the round more, I went ahead and picked up the Ruger Ranch rifle, okay, in 7.62 by 39. And I absolutely love this thing, mainly because the 7.62 by 39 is so cheap to shoot, and now I can shoot it even slower. So this just comes with a 5-round mag, and I got a 20-round box mag, which works with the Mini 30. Which the mags are a little pricey. They're about $40, but you got a threaded barrel on the end. It's a 16. I think it's just a 16-inch barrel. Little Picatinny rail up on the top. I've got a scope on the top. I'm going to be testing pretty soon. And I got one of the first models I got produced, and it took a while to really break the bolt in. I would hope that the bolts are machined a little bit better now, but that thing is just a tack driver, man. I mean, it is absolutely awesome. It's a cold hammer forged barrel. I can't tell you what the greatest steel is. It might be like a 5150, but as for bolt action 7.62 by 39s, there is a Zastava out there that you can get. The CZ makes a 527. That's around $600 maybe. I'd love to pick up one of those, 550, 600. I heard that 527 is a great rifle. Those are the only.
How much does that Ruger Ranch cost?
I want to say they're about 400. They're not cheap. They're a little expensive. I mean, I don't know, because when I compare it to like the Mossberg Patriot, like they kind of feel kind of similar, just like build, but you are getting a good quality barrel. You're getting a threaded barrel. I mean, it's a great gun. It's an awesome gun. I want to say they're around $400, but I mainly bought it because I had a ton of AK ammo, and I wanted to go through the AK ammo a little bit slower and kind of see what that round could really do. And I've been very happy with it. So it's a great one. There's Night Strike showing off his beauty there.
So the only plastic that belongs on an AK is original Bakelite plastic that they used.
Wait, go back to that stock. Go back to that stock.
That is the right stock.
Is that ribbed for your pleasure, or
It's dimpled for his or her.
Okay.
For the shooter's pleasure. So. Oh, geez. Oh my gosh.
There we go.
All right. Let's see. I'm trying to see if we have any questions coming out there.
And this plastic looks a hell of a lot better than the black stuff that this rifle originally came with, that Foos put on. So
fucking Foos.
Yeah.
See, G-Web says.
Wait.
Go ahead.
Wait, Travis.
Yo.
There we go. Have to rack the gun.
Oh, of course. Always. Make sure it's empty so you don't pull an obnoxious one, okay?
Yeah, I'm good.
Empty? Okay, good for you. Okay, excellent. And then on the other, now, like I'm saying about the SKSs, I'd recommend, so 410 is that for just like a basic SKS, not like a ceremonial issue model or anything. Is 410 kind of getting up there in price? $399, 410. That's starting to push the high limits of where they are market wise, right?
Not really.
No.
Yeah, that's probably like my local gun shop has 3 SKSs right now that range in price from $500 to $625.
Okay.
Now obviously that varies area to area, but I mean, really, what you're dealing with is because it's only every so often that these SKSs come in, right? So that's why AIM and JG they have them all at the same time, and then they'll sell through them here whenever they end up selling through them, if it's in a week, a month, whatever, and then they'll be gone from the market for a few months, and you won't be able to order them online. So you'll only have the option to buy it locally from some of your shops or used market or gun broker or whatever, stuff like that. So these prices that you're seeing them at now, when they show up at an AIM and at a JG sales or at a Classic, those are sale prices. Those are basically like, look, we just got in a big shipment, and so we're selling them all for $410, right? Those are lucky prices nowadays, because going to your try finding a $400 SKS locally, and you're probably not going to be able to do it. Maybe you will. Maybe somebody doesn't realize what the going value is of them. But I mean, 410 is a pretty, to me, that's kind of a low price. That's certainly a lot. I could take this right now, this rifle right here, as dinged up, crack stock, and everything as it is, and easily sell it for $450 right now. I could go to my local gun shop, just stand there with it for about 10, 15 minutes, and somebody would go, "How much do you want for it?" I'd go $450, and they'd go, "Sold." So it's 410 is actually a good price for one that's in good condition. So.
There was a question out there. Go ahead.
When I got mine a couple years ago, the one I was just showing, I paid $350 for this one. I had somebody offer me $550 for it. Yeah, so online. So I mean, if you're finding them for $410, that's probably on the lower end now for one that's in good condition. You're talking bottom market price for one that's in good condition.
Yeah, my SKS was the last $150 SKS that you could get in 2015.
In existence.
I got mine in 2015, so it was like the last one you could get, and it was it's still a piece of shit, but still, it can't be
that big of a piece of shit. It's an SKS.
It doesn't use steel case ammo.
What?
They're junk.
Yeah.
Who were they? What was it made from? Who made it?
The Chinese government.
I've never had any problem with Chinese SKSs.
I thought he might have got one of those unicorn North Korean ones because those things are crap.
It's not a North Korean, but I've showed Rich before. But it's an original Sino-Soviet, and the problem is, I thought it came in Cosmoline. No, it did not come in Cosmoline. It was rust.
Oh, okay.
And that
rust does make for a good finish.
Yeah,
yes,
I've seen his SKS. His SKS was in pretty bad condition when he got it, so it might not shoot steel case ammo. This thing was rough.
It shoots brass ammo just fine, but steel case, it will not eject steel case. It gets stuck in the chamber. I've cleaned the chamber out many times. I'm gonna have to hone the chamber, and I've been talking about having to do work on this gun for years, but I haven't ever got around to it because I really don't want to put more money into the rifle than it's worth.
Probably just polish it out with a Dremel. Polish the chamber. Just you got one of the little the adjustable ends, the like kind of the wiry ends for the Dremel, because you can't stick it straight in because the receiver.
Right.
Just get like those. It's like an extension that moves.
The extension, yeah.
The little wormy one, so you can kind of angle stuff in, extension. And then just put a little polishing wheel on the end. You can get a polishing wheel that'll fit in there, or if not, get a bigger one and cut it down to fit the size of the chamber, and then just polish it out really good. Just use like a real light. Don't use a paste based, but use a liquid based polisher like the Wyman's or something like that you get at the grocery store for like polishing the stainless steel on your sink and stuff. And then just kind of worm it in there and turn it on and just polish out the chamber. It should help a lot.
Well, the reason why I'm going to use a chamber hone to hone the chamber is because whenever the brass gets ejected, the cartridge is all rough. You can feel it on the cartridge; it's all rough. So I'm gonna have to hone the chamber to get it down to spec.
Just a little point I want to bring in real quick. John Z says, are we talking or not talking about the two-way rally in Washington, D.C. on November 2nd, 2019? Guys, if you can, you definitely need to go to that. And then this is a total deviation from the what we're chatting about right now, but that's something I think that's important to get out there. So, yeah, there is a D.C. rally coming up, so we are talking about it. Question here that came in from the back. What about 7.62x39 versus 300 Blackout? Man, that's like a whole separate show all by itself, because 300 Blackout, you can get so many different grain weights and so many different loads from it. I think we can all agree that your 7.62x39, your 300 Blackout, going to be pretty comparable to 30-30. And I was looking up the stats on those two types of ammo. There's a lot of websites or a lot of articles written on 7.62x39 versus 300 Blackout. I mean, they kind of, I don't know, I guess applications, intentions are a little bit different, but you want to talk velocity-wise and energy-wise, I mean, you can load 300 Blackout to perform very similar to 7.62x39. Energy-wise, it seems like the kinetic energy edge is going to go towards 7.62x39. If that's what you care about, flatter trajectory is going to go to 300 Blackout. But again, it depends on how you load the 300 Blackout, because you could buy a load that doesn't perform as well as 7.62x39 or something that's fairly comparable to it, or you can hand roll your own 300 Blackout that would be comparable to 7.62x39. Now, cost-wise, 300 Blackout is fairly expensive, depending on how you buy it and where you get it. I think at Walmart, when I was buying it there, it was about $13 a box. That's what I was paying for a box of Federal for 20, which is really high. There's a lot of companies that you can buy from. But, I mean, and you talk about the guns. The nice thing about 300 Blackout is you can use your AR-15 lower if you have it. You just get yourself a different upper. Magazines, you can use 5.56 magazines with 300 Blackout. I use the Magpul 300 Blackout magazines because they're the same price as 5.56, and I think they handle the round better. They are different than the 5.56 different than the 5.56 magazine. So as a comparison, 7.62x39 versus 300 Blackout. I mean, there are some slight differences in the diameter of the case and the length for the 7.62 by 39. I love 300 Blackout. At some point, I'd like to run it suppressed just to try it. Pick up a suppressor for it, get subsonic ammo. So I mean, they're both great rounds. They're both great. They both have their merits. Don't get me wrong. And I'm suppressed AKs too. But yeah.
I mean, depending on your bullet weight, like if you want to like average like a you 123 grain. Yeah, 123 is pretty much standard for an AK, but with like a 300 Blackout, let's say like a 110, they're virtually your foot pounds and your trajectory all the way out to 250 yards can be identical between those two. Now, when you start getting into like the heavier bullet weights of the 300 Blackout, which that 300 Blackout gives you a lot more options. You can go
with 150 right here, but yeah.
Yeah, once you start loading the heavier weight, that's when you start to see differences between the two. But 300 Blackout, because it's pushing a slightly smaller bullet, and honestly a better. I mean, if you've seen just the bullet itself, it's a longer, like what do they call it, boat tail round. The bullet itself, I think. So it has a little bit better, aerodynamics essentially than a standard
ballistic coefficient. There we go.
Yeah, there you go. There's the words I'm looking for.
The BC. Yeah.
But there's a whole lot of similarities between the 300 Blackout. I think kind of edges it out a little bit if you're the type of person who likes to. Maybe you want to be able to run different loads, different weights, and things like that, depending on what your particular application is, as far as going from hunting or hunting hog or hunting deer or hunting two different things and home defense and things like that. You've got a lot more options with 300 Blackout than you do with 7.62. But they're very, very similar in a lot of ways.
I would just say buy them both.
Yeah, I would definitely, I would definitely agree. If you can only have one, that especially with it being available on the AR platform, the 300 Blackout is more versatile than what the 7.62 by 39 is. Simply because you do have all the bullet weights, it's easier to suppress it and whatnot. So there are some definite upsides to 300
If you're
Blackout
looking for just like a one gun solution, if you're looking for like just a one gun solution to something, like you want to go out and buy one gun